going on, guys? This is Kyle Carroll from MyMMAnews.com and Carroll's Corner MMA podcast. Today I'm joined by Amy Golding, who will be fighting at Cage Wars 45 against Samantha Seth. Amy, how you doing today?
I'm feeling really good.
Glad.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a pleasure to be talking to you. Now, last time I saw you fight, your last fight was Jennifer Hicks. You were going into that fight, the title fight, 0-2 against someone who was regarded as a pretty talented MMA fighter at 3-2, or at 2-2, excuse me, and you put it to her. Tell us a little bit about that fight against Jennifer Hicks.
You know what? I went into it knowing that I had done like a lot of training and a lot of progress had been made, and I knew I could win it, and I knew I could win it bad, but like it didn't really register until like the third round, and I was like, come on, just finish it, you could do it, and then the last 15 seconds, I guess, I was like, well, you didn't make a big enough impact, so gotta step it up. But it was really good. I think my coaches were more worried than I was, but they get like intimidated by the numbers 2-2 versus an 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
But I just looked at the fights and I knew, I looked at her fights and I knew that I could win pretty easily, I thought. So
And
it was good.
you dominate her with the ground game, the grappling. I know you're a pretty skilled wrestler. You've been wrestling for a long time now. Tell us a little bit about your wrestling game and how long you've been doing it.
Wrestling, wow, I've been wrestling since 6th grade in high school, or middle school. My gym teacher actually got me into it because my friends were doing it and they were boys and I was like a tomboyish. But I didn't really like basketball because I was short. So I was like, oh, they're doing wrestling. Mom, can I do wrestling? No, you can't do it. And then I asked my gym teacher and he said I could do it. So I was like, yeah, my gym teacher said I could do it. So I signed up. I thought it was so cool. And then after the first season, my mom signed me up for a club. And then I kept doing the club and then I kept training and, eventually I made the world teams and it was just awesome. I got a scholarship to the Olympic Training Center at Northern Michigan my freshman year, and then I transferred with my coach to Missouri Baptist University.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went to school originally, there weren't very many colleges that had women's wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like exploded, so.
Yeah, what is it? How does that make you feel that you see colleges are picking up programs, and now there's even high schools who have just varsity women's wrestling? I know there's a couple on Long Island that have just varsity women's wrestling. How does that make you feel to see the sport of wrestling evolve for women?
I'm like super excited about it. Me and my husband recently have been talking to a woman in Niway. I don't know if you know what that is, in the New Way, but they run like the folk style wrestling in New York.
Okay.
But my husband and I are actually going to be the women's wrestling coach for the Capital District. So right now we're recruiting young girls to join our dual meet team. And we're going to go down to the States, and then we're going to go down to the national duels. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. When does that start?
Well, we're starting it right now. So the States are in March.
Okay.
In Brockport, New York.
Very cool. That's awesome. That must be an honor to be a part of something like that.
It is. It's so awesome. I'm so happy it's growing. My daughter is wrestling, and she's 8, so...
Awesome.
By the time she's in college, I want her to be able to go to Iowa somewhere awesome for like that has the history behind it also. Not that the schools aren't good now, but
no, I totally
I'd
get what you're
rather have
saying.
her be able to pick wherever she wants to go because she's smart.
Yeah,
and she's
absolutely.
an awesome wrestler already.
Mm-hmm. Now, what changed for you from your first two fights to your third fight? First two fights, they were a little tougher. Elise Reed, she's now fought and won in the Bellator. But what changed from those two fights to the third one?
Um, so my first fight, I did well, but I was going against Elise is more experience in the ring. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of made some rookie, I guess, mistakes is what my coach would explain it. I shot down to my knees, which is,
Mm-hmm.
duh. You're
Yeah, you
like
get
gonna give
caught
up your
there.
back. Yes. You can't move at all. You can't rotate of anything. So that was dumb. But in the first round, I did well. My coach actually told me not to take that fight, but I was like, you know what? Just want to do it. Just get one over with.
Yeah,
I didn't even care.
I see it, and it was your debut against Elise Reed, who was 5-1. Um,
Right.
she definitely had the
Yeah.
experience on you in that one.
Yeah. She did, and I give her a lot of respect for beating me. My second opponent was more of a learning experience. I went somewhere, and I thought I'd actually won the fight because, I'd done all the takedowns. I had actually done like most of the submissions. I tried an arm bar, and then I tried something else, and she hadn't done like anything. And like her face was all blown up, and my face didn't even get touched. And I was like, okay, I definitely won this. And then they announced her name, and I was like, oh my gosh. So that was definitely a learning experience where I'm like, I definitely have to check out where I'm going more before I commit.
Mm-hmm. Like what region you're fighting
So,
in?
right, and like kind of know the people and like trust them. Like that's why I'm sticking with Cage Wars right now.
Well, tell us a little bit about your experience with Cage Wars. You got the gorgeous victory under your belt. Tell us a little bit about fighting with them.
They have been so good. I've had two people pull out though, so that was really annoying. My first fight, and actually that's kind of why I don't do interviews very much.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, I get like kind of nervous, but um, so I did an interview, and then the girl pulled out like that week, and then so I didn't get a fight for like a couple months until Elise. So that was another reason why I took Elise, because like my girl already backed out, and I couldn't find anybody to agree for a long time. I had been waiting for a fight for maybe a year.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it was really
So
nobody could find me.
it was almost like you just
Oh,
wanted to get that experience under your belt and just get in there.
exactly. And it was kind of like it was way better for my first fight because you could ground and pound. So I got like a taste of it. My second fight, you couldn't even ground and pound at all. You couldn't hit in the face. So
Mm-hmm.
that really limited what I could do.
Yeah, because depending on what state and what area you're in, the rules of amateur change.
Exactly. Yep.
So now that you're able to ground and pound like you were in your third fight, um, how's that change your game when you're training? And tell us a little bit about training for this fight coming up against Samantha Seth.
Training usually 4 to 6 hours a day between going to Kirby training center, lifting, running. I also have like a Bulgarian bag. I don't know if you know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a sandbag. And then I also do boxing, striking every night with my husband. And he's like helped me so much. Like he's sometimes we don't get our kids down to sleep until like 10:30 at night. And then we end up working out until like 12:30 and he has to go to work at like 6:30. So like he's been really, really good
You guys are putting in long
helping me train
days.
that way. Right. It's just like the extra stuff because I'll do the striking and stuff with Lenny also
Mm-hmm.
at the training center, Lenny Baker. And then I'll do the wrestling at the training center too. We also have the youth practice, which I bring my daughter to. So it's, really long days and really a lot of busy, busy days, weekends.
So, what are some challenges that Samantha Seth presents to you?
Um, I mean, I guess I would say that her jujitsu would be a challenge. Although when I watch the fights, it doesn't really look like a challenge. So,
Okay.
um, I mean, she's tough. I guess her toughness would be more of a problem.
All right. Now
I'm just,
you hold the title.
yeah.
Do you feel like there's any pressure on you because you have the title?
You know what? I love pressure. I absorb pressure. No, I've been like at like a higher level for so long than most people that I really don't feel the pressure as a bad thing. It's
Hmm.
just exciting. I like live for the pressure.
Awesome. Well, tell us some about some of your goals and like where you want to go with this. How far do you want to go? What is your goal within MMA?
Um, I do want to go pro, and I'm not sure exactly the best way to do that. I'm gonna have to talk to other people and figure it out. Um, Especially, I know I said Lenny Baker knows a lot of people that can help me, and yeah. So I do want to go pro, and I just want to get to the top as quick as possible. So I'm not really scared of taking, harder fights, but I don't want to get set up either. So I want to know the person, and then they'll tell me that it's a hard fight, and then I'll accept it.
Awesome, awesome. You know, before I let you go, a couple quick questions. Um, what does it mean to you to and how has MMA changed your life? I know you've been a wrestler for a long time, but how has MMA changed your life since you started competing?
um, MMA is completely different. It's like more exciting in a different way. I actually just competed in a wrestling tournament last weekend with my daughter.
Oh, awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah, because there was an open division, and I wrestled last year's college national champion, and I teched her. So that was like so much fun. It was like 10-0 in the first round, and I
Ooh,
got like a 5 point throw.
oh,
So it was
nice.
even. But I was trying to like show my daughter kind of what to do. Like you can go out there and be, aggressive with the 2-on-1 also.
Hmm.
Something that we're working on.
What does it mean
But
to you to be able to like wrestle
it just
alongside your daughter like that? She gets to see you compete, and you're like it's like a teaching moment as well as you're wrestling
Yeah,
alongside
that
her.
was the first time she'd seen me wrestle. She hadn't seen me wrestle. I mean, she saw me wrestle when she was a baby, but she never remembered that. I haven't
Hmm.
wrestled in like, I don't know, 5 years. So she'd never seen me. She's only 8.
Okay.
So she was so excited. But we were also wrestling for a sword. So she didn't win her sword. She was disappointed, but she was over there cheering me on the whole time. I won the sword.
Awesome. That's pretty badass.
Samurai sword.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Goes along with all
It
the
was
other
fun.
medals and trophies. Very cool. And then
Yeah,
I guess to kind of wrap it up is
yeah,
tell us one thing
yeah. That was
about
the
you.
women's
Oh, sorry.
wrestling tournament.
Awesome. Tell us one thing about you that nobody knows but you'd like to share with everyone.
Hmm, that's a tough one. Um,
It could be MMA
I don't
related
know.
and non-related.
Maybe. Okay, my favorite snack, my favorite like go-to after weigh-in dessert, like instead of like ice cream or milkshake or anything like that, it's cheesecake.
Cheesecake?
Yes, I love cheesecake. So I have to get my like recovery meal in or whatever after weigh-ins. Although I don't really cut very much weight nowadays, but and then I get to have cheesecake. It's delicious. It's my favorite.
Cheesecake is pretty delicious. Is it just original cheesecake, no like flavoring or anything like that. No strawberry or
Yeah, I just
blueberry.
like, no, just plain cheesecake, but with like the spray whipped cream, you
Oh,
know.
awesome, awesome. Very nice. Well, Amy, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. I know you got a busy day ahead of you, so I'll let you go. Pleasure speaking to you and wish you the best of luck. This is Amy Golden, the Cage Wars Atomweight champion. Will be defending her title against Samantha Seth next Friday, January 31st at
Woohoo!
cagewarsny.com. Tickets are sold out, ladies and gentlemen, so you can't get tickets, can't get in unless you know someone. Otherwise, go online to Cage Wars NY, follow the link to Fight TV, and you can watch the stream there with myself and Will Barry as we commentate these awesome fights. And the ladies go at it, the men going at it. Titles are on the line, so make sure you check it out. This is Amy Golden, and she's on Carol's Corner MMA podcast. I'm Kyle Carroll, and we're out.
Bye bye.